gotta believe me, I swear ain't none of this easy. Ain't how it's looking on TV. I had to go find a work.
Yo. Okay.
Yeah, tell me what matters. Tell me what's got you stressing. Tell me what's missing.
That boy sound good. That boy sound good.
Things that's keeping us all guessing. Coming into
Yeah, I had it, but it don't hit the same.
Sometimes niggas be jumping and praying that God catch them.
Yo.
It wouldn't hurt to have
Welcome again back to another episode of the Gentleman's Club podcast.
Yo.
This is episode 69, snare drum for all of my immature deviants out there. We wasn't gonna do it?
In the bomb.
Okay. All right, I'll take it. All right, thank you. How are you, sir? First of all, skirt, before you even get the opportunity, I'd like to wish a happy birthday to my pod brother. Round of applause, please, for you, sir.
You know, I really don't like it when you ask me to give myself a round of applause.
Well, we gotta do that every now and then. For those who don't know, Zach don't really care about his birthday very much. Doesn't really care to celebrate it. But I'm here to celebrate you, sir. How about that?
I appreciate that, man.
Thank you.
First time in a long time that, you know, my birthday was more or less low key. Did a few things. I went out to dinner with my family. The actual day of my birthday actually had to, you know, I got peace and quiet for a majority of the day.
Beautiful. That's all a man could ever ask for.
That's all I asked for.
Okay.
We did a couple of things with us, you know, a very small gathering of friends.
Okay.
More so related around the kids, and then
Right. Yeah, I saw you. I saw somebody dressed up.
Who?
I don't know. It looked like Jay was dressed up. Were you dressed up? Somebody was dressed up. I could have been tripping, but I thought I saw something.
Yeah, you ain't seen no pictures of me dressed up.
Okay. All right.
They haven't existed yet.
Okay, I was about to say that's kind of a surprise given like how normally anytime I ever see you like $500 into a costume.
Yes. Normally I spend about that much money on my costumes because it's my birthday, and like I normally throw costume parties for my birthday.
Right.
I'm kind of a little burnt out from it.
I think I'm burnt out. Well, I've never been into Halloween, but I didn't feel the same energy that we got previous years.
For sure.
The timelines they were kind of dry. You know what I mean? It was people that, no offense, but it looked like people were trying to look like they were having a good time.
They're trying to restore the feelings.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. It really wasn't there.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything crazy as far as Halloween is concerned so far this year. Like I haven't seen any crazy parties or anything like that. But at the same time, I also am not on social media. I don't think I've been on social media all weekend.
Right. That's a good thing.
Minus a couple of like key, you know, thank you for the birthday wishes. I still haven't even thanked everybody for wishing me happy birthday on Facebook, and I'll get around to it.
Hey, when the weekend's over, do that shit Monday.
Yeah, so but thank you for everybody for sending me the birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. I just walked in and Zach had just finished the final season of You, the very last episode.
I woke up this morning and I was like, shit. I had 2 episodes left, and I told Ash and I'd be done with this by the time we record the next one. So,
Right.
Yeah, so me and the wife, we sat down and it was like, all right, we're going to ham this out.
Right.
And
any final thoughts on it?
Bro, that shit was so messy.
It was, especially at the end.
So, spoiler alert for the back half of season 3 of You. For those that did not listen to our last episode, we did break down the first half and the mental and psychological effects of things of that nature can have. But I'm just gonna break this down as a whole, man. Like, holy shit. This chestnut checkers, first off.
Yeah, for real.
I am going to continue my saying that love is the messy one of the two of them.
1,000%. You was right about that. I disagree with her at that one time that she wilded out. But serial killer chess it wouldn't be as fun.
So I want to I know that I don't know what the timeline is saying, but I'm sure that there is a divide on who was right and who was wrong in this situation as far as Joe and Love. And
I didn't see that.
Okay.
It was a whole bunch of, because a lot of men out there. I noticed a lot of men that had an affinity for love as well.
Okay.
Because she had that psycho ride or die mentality. I'm all about you.
Sure, I'll kill for you.
Right, exactly. And it don't get no deeper than that. After her fuck ups, bro, it was a whole lot of, yo, what are you doing? Oh no, baby, what is you doing?
Yeah.
It was a whole lot of that. So
that's what it felt like for me watching it. And like I'll say this, like when she had decided that, all right, it's time for my husband to go, like she had decided she was gonna kill Joe.
Right.
The way that she had decided she was gonna do it, how did she ever plan on getting away with it?
There was no plan. It was just like all of the feelings that she was feeling after the librarian left. She was just like, oh, man, it's not me. I'm not the problem. You're the problem, Joe.
But I'll even go a step further. What was her plan to get rid of the librarian?
She was just gonna smoke her.
Because there was no way that Joe was gonna help you cover that shit up.
There's no telling, bro. Honestly, I have no idea, and I don't think she thought that far.
And that is why Joe was the right person to live.
Yeah, of course. No, absolutely.
To the point where he had his whole, like, he came up with his exit strategy on the fly. Somewhat.
I disagree. Because if you think about it, they go into, when she's out in the garden, right before when she's playing the neighbor's son, when things start getting tricky, he started making a plan. Because it's like, okay, now we're trying to create this plan together to try to cover all of this stuff up. I could very well be in this plan of getting murked off.
Right.
So he started planning from her being in the garden from that point, the whole Wolfsbane and everything, created his own anti-serum. And once he started seeing the signs that, yeah, she's going to try to trap me up, he started preparing. Which is why I say you got to think like Joe. Always 90 steps ahead, man. 90 steps ahead.
You know what? Yeah.
That's the only point I was trying to get to.
Still.
I know.
Still.
I know.
I wasn't sure how it was all going to tie together. You had the what was the couple's name?
The Conrads?
The Conrads, yeah. You had the Conrads in the cage.
Oh, time out. How'd you feel about the experimenting sex scene?
Oh. Oh, yeah. We were talking about Polly. Yeah. Bro, that shit was uncomfortable to watch.
It was really uncomfortable. It was tough, man. It was tough.
Yeah, that was uncomfortable to watch, mainly because it was like, yo, the two people who's like in this ain't really into this
At all.
And it's crazy. And like realistically, if we're talking about poly and everything like that, that's normally how it goes. It's like it's one partner's idea and the other one doesn't really want to do it. But
sometimes it's the partner's idea, and then they realize that they can't handle it.
Yeah,
and that really sucks because the other partner could be like, I'm not really into that, and then it was just like, all right, cool. If you're in, then I'm in, and then you get into it. And now you're not in. It was like, wait, fam, I was kind of rolling into this for you because I thought that you were cool and you couldn't.
And now you're mad at me.
Yeah, because you could not handle it. Those are really uncomfortable situations to be.
Yeah, so I think that it is a very good lesson for those to realize it's like, all right, man, you really, and it is true, man, you got to have a really rock solid relationship for that shit to even be conceivable.
And you have to be stable yourself.
For sure. Oh, absolutely.
A lot of people like the idea of things and it sounds good in your head.
Right.
But are you ever mentally putting yourself through the simulation of what it would feel like to go through it? And I touched on that the last time. Like, do you ever think like that when you think deep into certain things? Do you ever mentally put yourself through the simulation of how you might feel? Just to guess and try to see ballpark where you might feel if this were to happen or if that were to happen.
Definitely being able to have empathy kind of helps me being able to do that, like put myself in other people's shoes and other situations and stuff like that.
That's lacking nowadays.
Though I will say this, that's a situation where even with empathy, until you're in it, you don't know.
That's true.
Because watching your lover
get her back blown out is
that's yeah.
It sounds cool in theory,
like
if you guys are into that.
That's a bro. Like I can't even put it into words.
It's a feeling that I don't.
Hearing about it is bad enough, but actually physically seeing it in person is like, yo, fam, I'm finna murder this guy.
It hits different. It hits different. Yeah. So trying to play that with a bunch of unstable serial killers, Never sounded like a good idea in the first place, but it was interesting to watch.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was definitely entertaining. Love is messy,
Super messy.
incredibly messy. Literally everything she did, it was just, all right, Joe's got to go clean this up now.
Fam, they wouldn't even have had to lock the Conrads up if she, like, you gonna blurt out that I killed Natalie for you, like, downstairs? Like, what are you doing?
There's people in our house.
Like, we should never even be ever discussing these conversations.
This conversation should never be had, period.
Ever
Again. It just shouldn't.
Right.
Not in that level of no.
Now I gotta kill this mountain man who almost killed me last time, who I almost killed last time. These motherfuckers are shooting bow and arrows in their living room.
That shit was funny. Joe almost got hit by the arrow. He said,
Yeah, he's like, I forgot about this part. Yeah. So that was tough, man.
And you know what? I'm calling bullshit
On?
when Joe hit him with the arrow. That is divine intervention.
You don't feel like when there was on the little man trip that Joe tapped into his inner animal spirit?
Bro, he wasn't even looking when he shot the arrow. All right.
I feel you on that. Any other final thoughts? Obviously, everybody else was able to come out unscathed. They left the baby with the gay couple, the blind guy who worked at the library and whatnot.
Right.
The librarian got away.
Yeah. So I think that it all found a way to like tie itself up in a bow pretty neatly. Now, granted, I did there was a part of me that felt like, all right, Joe and Love can't really go into another season together.
There's no way it'll work out. Somebody's going to jail or somebody's got to die.
Exactly. And I was like, all right, if one goes to jail, they both going to jail.
Yeah, that's
and
a
there's
fact.
no season 4 if they're both in jail.
True.
So I was like, all right, somebody got to get out of here. And I actually, for a moment, thought that Joe would have got out of here and season 4 might have very well been about Love.
I actually thought that could have been the case, and I wouldn't have been mad at that.
Yeah, no, I think that it would have been a great change of pace and a nice little switch up because
I think I would have got my dialogue.
No, for sure. You know what? You said that, but there were moments where you got Love dialogue.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think I just wanted more so of
what's going through her head.
Right.
But I think that season 4, because I think now that we know what season 4 is going to be Joe kind of looking all over the world for Meredith or whatever her name is.
Right.
But I think if Love was the main character in season 4 and Joe was completely out of here, it would have been about, Love trying to hit the reset button a third time. And her realizing that she has to be more cautious and careful, kind of like Joe, and maybe her morphing into a better version of Joe. Right. Because realistically, the only reason why she's been able to cover her tracks up to this point is because on the latter side because of Joe. But before Joe was ever involved, because of money. Which she doesn't have anymore.
Yo, that mom episode where she was riding around with the baby wilding out, that was...
Oh, bro, I was furious.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Absolutely furious.
Like, I actually thought for sure she was going to...
The fact that she made it out of that drive-thru...
Yeah.
Is beyond, bro.
It was nuts.
I'd have lost... Bro.
I actually thought that Joe was going to kill her mom. Or I thought Love was actually going to kill her.
I didn't... I was shocked that she made it out alive.
Ended up being able to go to rehab.
Right.
Blessings.
Again, that's money.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
But yeah, no, as a whole, man, it's like, all right, man, this is why you got to have like real deep conversation with your wives and make sure y'all on the same page because Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that every wife is a serial killer, but I think every and this is every husband and wife has a little has a dot of that in them.
Yeah, of course.
It's all impulses, and most of us are better at controlling them than the two of them, obviously.
But you always have those situations where husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend, you guys may have history together, live together for a while, but one person will do something and their other significant other looking, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I think we all do that.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Speaking of partners that
you got to look at it and say, what the fuck
is going on? That Jada Pinkett situation Jada has yet again hit headlines, I guess you could say. The rumor mill spun, and she was at the forefront of it, and every man in the world was like, yo.
Future got involved this time.
I saw that. Yeah, that's rough. One thing I do got to say is it was somewhat of more of the rumor mill this time.
Yeah, no. I saw Jada's response.
Okay.
I did.
I went a little further. I actually watched an actual episode of Red Table Talk.
Okay.
I felt the judgment in that. Okay, but that's okay.
No, nothing wrong with that. I've watched the Red Table Talk is actually a really good show.
I think so too.
I just don't have the time.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was my first time watching like an actual full episode outside of the one with Will and Jada.
I watched a couple.
Okay.
It's actually really put together.
Right.
I kind of think that before we get into this topic, I kind of do think that it is a way for her to draw people to the Red Table. Is by like stirring the pot a little bit.
Okay.
Because what she said, regardless of if it was out of context or not, it wasn't necessary to say.
I disagree. Because in
a public forum?
I disagree because of the episode that I watched.
Okay.
First of all, you want to cover some of the things that was said, and then we can get into what I discovered throughout that.
So without going into too much detail, more or less, it came out that Jada was more alluding to that
they're still having issues with their sex life in their marriage,
and Will can't get the job done. It's Mike Lowry we talking about.
Yeah, man. Like, come on, you
Hancock.
Yeah, come on, fam. Come on, man.
That's a great movie,
right?
In my opinion,
I love it. I love it.
He was a legend. I am legend. Like,
fam, he keeps himself in shape. He's handling zombies. He saved the world. Like, this man has saved the world multiple times, and you trying to tell me that my mans can't get the job done in the bedroom?
I was blown by that. I was like, wow.
And it turns into
Keep working on yourself, King.
Yeah, keep working on yourself, Will. Stay strong, man. And of course the jokes flew, and a lot of guys were saying it's like, man, I feel bad for Will. It's like, you have this wife who seems to not be satisfied solely by you in a lot of different areas. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to like who Will is and how he portrays himself to be, he seems to be like a very great guy.
Tough line.
Very in tune with himself, working to be a better man at all times. Mm-hmm. But somehow his wife is just completely unhappy and is still in love with Tupac. And then you got the whole
you losing to a man that's been in the ground for
20
25 years,
bro. It's rough, man. So I looked into it, and they ended up having Gwyneth Paltrow on there.
Okay,
she's been really heavy in this inner look, body conscious, sex conscious type of show. I think they got it on Netflix. I do not remember the name of it. Mm-hmm. A couple of our guys over there in the back are going to try to look that up and see if we can get the right information.
Couple guys in the back, he says.
It sounds good to know that we got like mad production back there. You know what
I mean, sure, we could do that.
But she's turned into this more of a sexual guru and working with other people and couples to try to improve their sex life. So they brought her on. They were having conversations, and the conversations that they were having was basically couples in marriages have issues with trying to convey everything that they need in the bedroom, especially women. Mm-hmm. And that's when Jada was like, yeah, even after 26 years, I'm still having issues and difficulties in the bedroom and trying to get Will to know exactly what I want. And that opens up a few different avenues in conversation. Mm-hmm. Because in my travels and having conversations with people,
mm-hmm. I love your wording.
No, but genuinely, I have conversations with people, and people express their displeasures in their marriage and or relationship. Mm-hmm. And me being a guy is, okay, well, if you say you like this or you don't like this, have you tried telling him that? And I would say 75% of the time is no.
Of course.
The answer is no. And it's like, so then I stop him. I was like, so how is he
ever supposed to figure it out?
Ever supposed to figure out what it is that you like? And saying that, well, he's supposed to know, like I send him certain things or I'll mention certain things like that, and men are seemingly expected to put the pieces together and figure out, oh no, this will definitely be the ticket. So she actually had some accountability for herself when it came to that, saying that we're expecting men to just read our minds and just to know, but people really do that. They would rather just sit and be miserable and be unhappy than actually express and talk to their partner specifically about what it is that they're into and what it is that they like. And that makes life difficult. That opens avenues for people to explore elsewhere, which it seems like that kind of happened. So I don't know. It was interesting for me. I had to look into that a little bit more because like there's no way that this is another embarrassing moment for Will from Jada. Not for as intelligent and as healthy minded as she seems to be and comes off. And it's like we're still having these issues.
Yeah, I get what you're saying as far as like you understand why that conversation was had, but again, in my head, it's much easier for her to have that conversation with him in person, one-on-one, than to air it out in the world. Because again, now, like you've already within the last
with everything
year and a half,
with everything that's gone on in a year and a half,
you really want to put that out there when we have the whole August Alsina thing, and nobody's forgotten about that. That was a moment last year.
Yeah, for real.
That was a whole moment last year, for real.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's like, okay, so you're gonna put that out in the space of the world again, like that your husband can't please you sexually,
right?
Or however you want to spin that, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
I feel like there was a better way. Like there's a better way to communicate that.
She could have came off and said that, hey, you know, we had some issues and it took me to being more vocal about what it is that I wasn't getting in order for us to work past this. That would have sounded a whole lot better.
But I don't think she could actually say that for the fact that it's still an issue.
Yeah, so she was being more so honest. So it's still an issue, and you broadcast it to the world.
I from a creator standpoint, I appreciate the honesty,
of course.
But from a person that is married and understands how quickly the perception of your relationship
can change
in the outside world.
Yep.
Now, granted, a part of me is like, well, fuck those people. There's not their marriage, whatever the case may be.
Right.
But you're a celebrity in the public eye on a regular basis.
Right.
Your husband is one of the biggest blockbuster actors of all time.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You are somebody that is looked at with this level of mystique. There's always been this rumors of you and your husband swinging.
Since I was in high school.
Nothing that you have done in the last year and a half
has shown that was not.
That's not the case.
Right.
And then you both brush it off like, ha, 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 we're not swingers. Ha, 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 little Augie. Ha, 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 my husband doesn't satisfy me sexually. So you want me to believe that, okay, you had the August Alsina thing.
Right.
The entanglement, as we will.
Right.
You go out and tell me that your husband does not please you sexually still to this day.
Right.
And you're really going to look into a camera and say, we're not swingers? That we don't believe in that's not who we are. It's like, okay, fam.
Yeah. Well, okay, so usually most marriages.
Okay, maybe your husband's not swinging.
Right, but
maybe he is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But maybe they're moving like free spirits and they don't want to confine each other to the simple boxes and rules of marriage.
I don't like labels.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe they're
get the fuck out of here.
You don't think that's all right, I got you. Look, man. I'm with you.
How
Yo, did you know she's about to be 70 years old, man?
Who?
Jada.
No, she's not.
Brother.
No.
All right.
Okay, hold on. No. We're not doing that.
60 or 70, one of those. One of those. She said that and I said, huh?
She's not about to be 70. If she is, then she has the fountain of youth.
But
she's 50. Don't do that.
That's all right. Well, then she capping on the red table. That's all I'm saying. I'm sure there's a lot of that.
She just turned 52 like a month and a half ago.
Really? Mm-hmm. She looks amazing then.
No, she does. She does look great. Black don't crack. But yeah, no, she's not 70.
All right.
I'm not gonna do that.
So to somewhat take this in another lane, when it comes to your marriage and or relationship, like what's your opinion because I'm trying to word this the right way. Obviously, I've had conversations with people where they express their displeasures in their marriages, or friends are going to vent to friends, Mm-hmm. But where do you draw the line when it comes to certain things like that? When you're venting to your friends about issues in your relationship or marriage, because I can say for me, like once somebody else that you've spoken to, especially if they're a part of my friend group, once they're coming back to me with the issues that we've talked about, now I got like a major issue. Like for me, that's like the ultimate betrayal. There's no way that somebody else should be coming to me and telling me about something that you told them about our marriage and issues in our relationship.
I think that for men and women, the lines are different, and I don't want to say that one's more drastic than the other, but men have certain things that they don't want discussed with other people.
That's a fact.
And women have things that they don't want discussed with other people.
Okay.
So one's not better than the other.
Right.
Like I think women have a lot more ease of talking with their friends about sex and issues in the bedroom.
Yeah, I would agree.
Where I think men have a little bit more issue talking about finances.
Okay.
And things of that nature.
Okay, fair enough.
And
that's usually where it goes. That's usually what both sides.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Exactly. So what's the cutoff? I guess that's every individual person's tolerance, but at the same time, you should be able to effectively communicate with your partner your issues more so than you are with anybody else.
Right.
If you're not because you don't feel comfortable with your partner, that's a red flag. If you can't because your partner doesn't respond to these conversations well, that's a red flag. If you can't because whatever the case may be, it's a problem. You should be able to have conversations about your relationship with your partner, with your partner better than anybody.
Yeah. If you can vent to your friends more, I'm with you on that.
And it's really troubling. They've been together for fucking 30 years.
Yeah, that's true. Since they were young.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, what is it that has caused you to not be able to get this figured out in that time frame? Like you guys have 4 kids together. Yeah, you have 3 kids together.
Yeah.
A multitude of years behind each other. Why is it that this long into the marriage this comes out? Like, have you not had that conversation with him?
I think.
Or have you expressed it as, why don't we experiment with other people?
Yeah.
Like that was your solution and your husband went with it because, there's this curtain of Hollywood. And it's like, oh yeah, whatever, everybody else is doing it, whatever the case may be.
Right.
But, and if that's what they both want to do, so be it. That's their business.
True.
But at the same time, it's like, I think that another conversation needed to be had before you got to that step.
Right. But I mean, people are always okay. So you brought up the example. People they might not want to share how they feel because of how their partner reacts, or they might not want to share because they don't trust their partner. Obviously, those are all red flags. But then even when you take it into the whole sexual thing, and let's say that you do want to find a way to spice up or change your sex life or get some of the things that you want, some people are always afraid to do that as well because some people are into sometimes people are into wild stuff like, yo.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I like feathers on my feet. I like candle wax, all over me and whatnot. Another person might not be with it.
So talking about and exposing too much about your relationship, I am the king of doing that on this podcast. But I can do it because me and my wife are in a healthy spot.
Okay.
So
you're gonna lead by example here, is what you're trying to say.
I hope I am.
Okay. I'm with you.
So before we got married, we went through marriage counseling.
Okay.
I would highly advise people to do that before you get married. There's so many things that you need to know about your partner. And like tough conversations that you don't think that you need to have, but you absolutely fucking need to have.
Right.
And one of the conversations that we had when we were in marriage counseling. You know what?
Take your time, man. Take your time.
I think I'm gonna dial this one back. Actually. Okay. More or less is comfort in things,
right?
When it pertains to the bedroom, and having those conversations and expressing to one another, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is my absolutely fuck no, this is my I'm willing to try it in certain situations, et cetera, et cetera.
Of course.
It's important to have those conversations because there might be deal breakers there that like you don't agree on.
Yeah, true.
And it's important to know that
beforehand.
And here's the thing, people like, that's such a weird thing for people to talk about, perception wise, that you might not know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You might think, she'll come around, but then it's like, oh, that's her deal breaker.
Yeah, that's absolutely
She will leave your ass if you try that shit again. You need to know.
Yeah.
Realistically, you need to know, and you should be allowed the opportunity to decide, am I willing to deal with that?
Right.
On both sides.
Okay.
On both sides, absolutely. So I think that's a point that is missed a lot in relationships.
I see it too often. I just see it too often to the point that it bothers me because
Wife's gonna kill me.
But I mean, moving away from that, I just see it too often where people are in these long relationships or they're married, and it's like I can be aware of things that maybe their partner is not aware of. And that's scary to me because I've been in the same position, not necessarily in marriage, but in a very serious relationship. Mm-hmm. And it's just like when certain people are getting this information and I can't even really have a conversation with you about it. Like that's like the scariest thing on the planet. It's like, and we're supposed to continue to try to make this work, and I'm supposed to just like, what are we supposed to do at this point?
Go with it. Huh?
Yeah. Like, what are we supposed to do at this point? So, and I just see it too often. So it was an interesting situation. And it's like, I hope that at that level of life and that many years into a relationship that they have had conversations about what one does and doesn't like in bed. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
You never know.
She kept a little bit of accountability on her and tried to make it work. So
I feel like there's going to be more to come as far as that's concerned. So we'll absolutely keep an eye on it. I just don't want to hear Augie's name again.
Fair enough.
So this has been a wonderful therapy session for those that need it as far as relationships are concerned.
Of course.
That's what we're here for.
Right. We flipped that 69 up, huh? Pause, if applicable. I'm just saying we changed it into something healthy versus not. All right.
I got nothing for you, man.
I got you. I'm going to work on it. This has been another episode
of the Gentlemen's Club Podcast.
Damn, you came in super early on that thing. You was ready for that one. My man.
I'm a professional, sir.
I heard you.